let's go ahead and solve question 2.0 from section 6.2. And for this problem, this one is a little bit different from the other problems because as you can see now we have variables on the denominator and you also have a number as well. So I recommend that you take the product of x, y, and 2, and the product of that is 2xy. So if you multiply all three of those terms together, you get 2xy. And I would recommend that you multiply the first equation by 2xy. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and distribute this. I'll do this very slowly here. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6. And then this x and that x will cancel off, and then this y will tag along as 6y. All right, so when you multiply 2xy by 3 divided by x, you get 6y. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the other ones now. If I multiply this 2 by that 4, I get 8, right? So 2 times 4 is 8, so plus 8. And then this y and that y will cancel off, and then this x will tag along. So you get 8x there. And then you have this equal sign there, so let's write an equal sign there. And then let's go ahead and distribute the last one for us. If I multiply 2 times 5, 2 times 5 is 10, right? But then 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. So I need a 5 here. And since we have xy remaining, there's something that will cancel out the variables, so that xy will just tag along. All right, so you get 5xy on the right-hand side there. And that's how you multiply everything by 2xy. If you distribute that correctly, you get 6y plus 8x equals to 5xy. Okay, on the second equation here, there's an x, a y, and a 4, and I would recommend that you take the product of all three of those terms, and if you take the product of that, you get 4xy, right? So I recommend that you multiply everything by 4xy. And let's go ahead and put that in brackets, and let's go ahead and distribute now. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20, and there's a minus sign here, so that's going to be negative 20. And then you'll notice that this x and that x will cancel off, and then this y will tag along. So I get negative 20y. Okay, let's go ahead and distribute the next ones now. And if I do 4 times positive 3 is going to be plus 12, so plus 12. And then this y and that y will cancel off, and then that x will come over there. Equals to. And then let's go ahead and multiply the last terms together here. Sorry, bracket, bracket, bracket. Okay, and then 4 times 7 is going to be 28, and then 28 divided by 4 is going to be 7, and then you have a minus sign there, so you have a minus 7, and because there's an xy there, that xy will remain as negative 7xy. All right, perfect. So that's great. So if I take a look at this expression right here, you'll notice that the denominators are all gone, and now we need to continue modifying this so that we can use the addition method and isolate for one of the variables here. Okay, so there's a few ways that you could do this. I'm taking a look at this 8 here. There's an 8 there, and there's a positive 12, right? So what's the least common multiple for 8 and 12? Well, that's going to be 24, right? So what do I need to do to this first equation to get to a 24? All right, so I have to multiply the first equation by a 3. And if I do that, get some more room here. 3 times 6 is going to be 18y. And then this is what I really want. I want 3 times 8, which is 24, so plus 24x. And then finally, 3 times 5 is going to be 15. So this is going to be equals to 15xy. All right, so that's my new equation there. And then for my second equation here, what do I need to do this 12 to get to a 24? Well, I need to multiply everything by a 2. Right, so 2 times negative 20 is going to be negative 40, so negative 40y. And then 2 times 12 is going to be plus 24, so 24x. And finally, 2 times negative 7 is going to be negative 14. So I need to have a negative 14xy. Okay, great. So this is looking pretty good now because as you can see, I wanted a 24 here and I want a 24 there. So when the coefficients are the same for the x variables there, then you can use the addition method here and eliminate the x variable completely. All right, so in order to okay, the problem is I'm still not done because in order to eliminate the x variables, I guess I need to subtract the second equation from the first one. So one more little modification here. I'm going to distribute this minus sign on. And hopefully if you've done enough of these homework problems, that stuff should be you should be comfortable with that step. So you get 40y, and then negative 24x equals to positive 14xy. And then right above it, I get 18y plus 24x equals to 15xy. All right, now this is looking great now because as you can see, I have a positive 24 and negative 24. So if I add them together, the x's should cancel off, right? So let's go ahead and add this now. 18 plus 40, right? So let's go ahead and figure out 18 plus 40, and that gives you what, 58. So this would be 58y. The x's will cancel off. And let's go ahead and add 15 and 14. So 15 plus 14 is going to be 29. So 29 xy. Okay, so this is what we're solving now. We're solving essentially this equation now. I have 58y equals to 29xy. So now we're going to solve this equation here. Well, the y's can cancel off. All right, so now I have 58 equals to 29x. And then I can divide both sides by 29. 29's will cancel. So 58 divided by 29, I believe that's going to be 2, right? So yeah, x equals to 2. So it's fantastic. We were able to solve for the x variable. Now let's go back and solve for the y. All right, so x equals to 2. Now let's go back and solve for y. All right, so we need to go back to an equation here, and we have to be able to solve for y somehow. And I'll go back to this equation right here. Let me just rewrite this first equation here. You can essentially use any equation, but I'll go back to that. So I have 18y plus 24x equals to 15xy. Okay, so we just calculated that x has a value of 2, right? So anytime we see an x that has a value of 2, so if I substitute 2 in, this will be 24 times 2 equals to 15 times 2 times y. This will give me 18y plus, and 24 times 2, that's going to be 48. So 48, and then 15 times 2 is going to be 30, so 30y. And now I'm in a pretty good situation to solve for y now. Let's go ahead and take this 18y and let's bring that over now. If I do that, I get 30y minus 18y, and that gives me 48 over here. 30 minus 18 is going to be 12, so 12y equals to 48, and then you can divide both sides by 12. And if I do that, 48 divided by 12, it gives me a nice number, it's going to be 4. All right, so my y value is 4, so my final answer is 2, 4. All right, so that concludes this homework video guide on question 2.0, which is one of the harder questions in the homework.